And he starts it off with an ace. Well, it's an impressive opening game. That one catches the line, shoots through 203 kilometres an hour. No easing the arm in here for Novak. Out of the blocks, incredibly sharp. Strong opening hole for Team Serbia. Obviously, Jong's never beaten a world #1 in his career to this point, but he has beaten 2 top teners along the way. He defeated Casper Ruud en route to a 3rd round at the US Open last year. That was a top 5 opponent on that occasion.
Well, took out Taylor Fritz also in Madrid in 2023. That was a good result, made it out to the quarterfinals. He's actually had quite a few good results on the clay. This a bit speedier surface here in Perth. There's a confidence booster. Going toe-to-toe in the baseline with Novak. And Zhang comes good.
And that's a great service hold for Zhang. Game duration of just a minute 19. So 2 quick opening games. I mean, he's had the benefit, Gem, of being out here, defeated Yuri Leheshka of the team Czech Republic in the opening match. So A, he's got a bit of confidence, but B, he's got court time. Novak hasn't had as much court time as he would have liked to be able to practice here because matches have been underway.
That's right.
All day for the past couple of days.
But this is the second match he's played this week, Novak. It's just the first one was in Saudi Arabia in an exhibition versus Alcaraz. Alcaraz nipped him 6-4 in the third. Shocking that it went 3 sets. Really surprising. Every exhibition goes 3 sets.
Does it?
Yeah, just, I'm not talking to you, even if I'm looking at you. Sort of in the contract. Give them their money's worth. But anyway, he's had some match play. But this is different when you're playing for ranking points, playing for your country. A lot more pressure here. He can handle it.
Not the greatest of approach shots there from Djokovic, but still it's a little bit of a probing match for him just to see what his opponent's got. Can he come up with shots like that? And that was a good, smooth, clean pass from Zhang.
A little more oomph on that approach shot.
And on the serve too. Past the serve of the 9 to 6 kilometers an hour. So for 15-30, Djokovic rises to the occasion. He gets the hold of serve, and it is on serve. 2-1 in the opening set. Well, a good start from both players, really.
A nerve-settling hold for Zhang in his service game. But, that will feel good to get one on the board and get comfortable. Novak is preparing a special drink, isn't he, Todd?
Yeah, you can see a silhouette there. It's just gone back in. Novak is promoting a new brand of drink that he's in partnership with. Sila is the name of it. And it's making its debut here in Perth today. Fastidious is Novak Djokovic about everything within his preparation, whether it be food, drink, training, physiotherapy. He has this ability to find every percent to improve his game, and over his career it's paid dividends, and he's still searching for extra pieces, and that's why he's been able to play at the levels he has at this age. Jung for Team China, serving 1-2 in the first set.
And serving well, making a lot of first serves here early. Can de-stress the situation against the returns of Novak.
That's the shot we've got to keep an eye on. There's the forehand.
And I'm sure, Todd, that of course they've done their homework, and Novak will know that. I think that is a ball that would normally go up the line, not always, but it's more natural to take that up the line. But he goes away to what he perceives as the weakness, or the weaker side. I shouldn't say weakness; it's not. Just slightly weaker than the backhand wing for the Chinese.
There he goes there again.
Yeah, and he's got 2 errors. Bang, bang.
Yeah, the forehand from Jung is, you could call it his web. It's a shot that he likes to go after. It's a dynamic shot. The backhand is much steadier. Three in a row.
30-40.
And if you do have a tiny bit of a weakness in one facet of your game, it can be accentuated by playing such a great player too.
A little extra on that first serve to get out of the break point, back to deuce. But if you're Jung, you should be expecting that forehand to be tested today. He will get challenged on that wing, no doubt.
Oh, he made it. Magnificent pass, but a better volley.
Well, that passing shot was incredible. Novak on the full stretch, slides into it, dips this down, but the rangy Jung able to caress this one cross court. That is absolutely perfect.
You know, for a slightly lower ranked player, I mean, he's top 50 in the world, isn't he? But you just feel so much more pressure to win every point against a player of Djokovic's ilk, or any great player.
And it comes from like the return, Fitzy. Yeah. 203, good serve in the corner, returned with interest.
You can just feel the pressure on him, can't you? He's a likeable character, though, Todd. He's got a lot to offer, this young man. Well, had to hit a cold winner there. Chong, I mean, that's dangerous. But I guess everywhere you approach, Jim, to Novak, it's dangerous. But to go across court, you've given him the running forehand opportunity.
Yeah, and Novak was there. He anticipated that shot coming. He was already looking for it, but still had to deliver, and he did. Some extra oomph on that second serve. That was a big one. 175K out wide. That's first serve type speed out wide. And then he follows it up with another risky forehand. Risky and risky, and it finds its mark. Well played.
Yeah, well played. There's the backhand. Let's take a look at the backhand. It's a much easier, simply produced shot than the forehand. Less can go wrong with that wing. But a tough situation when you have to spend 6 or 7 minutes to hold your service game every time you go around against Novak.
Sometimes it's easy to overlook just how big Novak hits his forehand. And I think some of it is because he doesn't make a lot of noise when he hits the shot, and there's no grunt. It's a silent assassin type move. But that ball slings off of his racket and does a lot of damage.
Interesting racket change early in his career after turning professional. If you remember, he played with a Wilson racket, which was more similar to that of Roger Federer. Then went to the head racket, and for a little while took him a bit to adjust. But I think it has allowed his game to get to these heights. Because in that forehand, Jim, it's about speed and spin, and he learned how to get both off of the frame that he uses. Wilson frame more about control than speed. Not much to say about that, but to enjoy it. Look at the balance, the strength in the legs, the flexibility. The racket head control, brilliant. Now coming back from that part of the court for Zhong, and it is a love game for Novak Djokovic, and Team Serbia have a 3-2 lead in the opening set here.
Team Serbia leads against 2-2.
Well, Western Australia has so much to offer, such a big coastline, and one of those places that you can go visit if you get to the west is the Ningaloo Reef. Absolutely just chock full of sea life. You can go swim with the whale sharks, and look at the pictures. Really, they tell the story, don't they? Just so many wonderful things to come and see and do in Western Australia. Well, he's lifted the noise levels here in the RAC Arena tonight as Novak Djokovic. New Year's Eve, plenty of people out and about in the city of Perth tonight. There's drone exhibitions down by the river at 8 p.m. and then there'll be fireworks, of course, later on this evening at midnight. We're only about a 15-minute, 20-minute walk from the Swan River here at the RAC Arena. Here's Zhong serving at 2-3 in this opening set. I think one of the key things is he knows he has to press Zhong, but keeping it within the framework to be able to sustain the levels, Jim's going to be tough for him tonight.
He's come out well. He's come out serving nicely, hitting the ball clean, but here's a problem. Love 15, second serve. And Novak's getting warmed up. And here comes crunch time, love 30. Novak also now has seen his opponent and also felt what the shots are like coming off of his racket, so he'll start to work him out. There's only so much you can do with scouting. You need to be on the court, feel the spins and the speeds, see the ball toss of your opponent to get comfortable, start to read them.
As the pattern of play fits it.
Yeah, it's obvious, isn't it? It's a direction of traffic straight into the forehand as soon as you can. I mean, you can't hit he's not going to hit every ball there, and you shouldn't, but he's certainly asking some questions on that wing.
So 3 break points now for Team Serbia and Novak Djokovic. Only one required, broken to love.
Team Serbia leads 4 games to 2.
No uncertainty at all from Novak in his ground strokes right now. He is taking big cuts at them, swinging freely and confidently.
He's the most accurate player we've ever seen, Jim, surely. And I know that's not the most flattering adjective to describe him in, but that's why he's so lethal, because he can hit the ball on a dime time and time again. It's incredible watching him courtside.
It's one thing to come out and start well for, what, 20 minutes or so, but to maintain the level for Zhong is hard, isn't it? He's just not used to being able to do that. Yet Novak's used to people coming at him so quickly. I think that's one of the things that the top players we underestimate too, that when they come up against opponents, everything's thrown at them for that first 20 to 40 minutes, and often players will play their very best tennis, and if they can absorb that, then they can railroad the rest of the match. But you have to be ready, because they're coming at you when you're the one that they're after. You sit at the top. That breaks a run of 10 consecutive points for Djokovic.
Not happy either. Missed a simple forehand by his standards, and he was unhappy with himself. The pursuit of perfection.
Still hasn't quite found his rhythm on the first serve. First serve percentage under 50% for Novak. Normally in the low 60s on average. So expect him to start to settle in that department as well. Made the first serve, but didn't hit his target, and he's become an incredible target server over the years as he's rounded out all the elements in his game. Pursued his perfection, as Fitz said. He's become one of the spot servers in men's tennis these days.
And he consolidates the break, and very quickly, Team Serbia have 5-2 first set.
Team Serbia leads 5 games to 2. Gochen, please.
We heard in that warm-up Viktor Troicki saying, you know, don't say too much. You have to time what you say when you say. But right now, when Novak's 5-2 up in the opening set, you can let him sit down and do as he wishes.
It'd be a little intimidating giving advice to Novak, wouldn't it?
I think so, yeah. But if he asks for it, you've got to have something ready to give, and that might be troublesome too if you give the wrong info.
I think you better just get it right.
It's the United Cup, New Year's Eve, and it is the new season for 2024. Earlier today here on RAC Arena, the United States came back in the mixed doubles from well and truly looking like they're in trouble to defeat Great Britain and keep that group alive. Australia will now take on the United States to see if they can somehow keep their hopes alive. Great Britain having defeated Australia. So it was always going to be a tough one on paper. That tomorrow evening here in Perth. Now Team China. Zhong Zhizhen coming out to serve. Trying to stay in this set. It's 2-5.
That's the benefit of new tennis balls here after 7 games. They'll be a little speedier. That one beats Novak for pace. And again.
Very good game. Puts the pressure on. See whether Novak's up to the task of serving this first set out. Great shot there of the shoe of Zhang. And you could see it was amazing. And Triple Z. Triple Z is his nickname that he likes to go by.
Yeah. Zhang Zhizhen, 3 Z's in his name. And he says that suits him just fine. He also says he likes to sleep, so that works well for him too.
A few Z's.
Yeah. Novak trying to put this first set to bed as he serves for it. 15-love. Just outfoxes Zhang with that one. My kids would call that an ankle breaker.
Can't afford to miss those.
Well, perhaps he saw out of the corner of his eye Novak moving to cover the down-the-line approach, and it just threw him off. That's a couple times now that Novak has been in the right place at the right time.
So after 33 minutes, we've got a set point for Team Serbia. And a very tidy opening set for Novak Djokovic. He takes it for Team Serbia, 6 games to 3.
6 games to 3.
First set statistics. Novak's first serve percentage started to climb as the set went on, back up to normal, nearly 60% there, better from his opponent, Zhang Zhizhen. If we look to the bottom line, the unforced error count, they both had 8 winners. Djokovic just 5 unforced errors, while Zhang trying to press and stay with His lofty opponent unable to control the ball quite as well. 13 unforced, and therein lies the big difference.
And it doesn't take much, does it?
I think particularly, gentlemen, that they'd be on the forehand wing. It's probably about 10-3 is my guess. And so that side is being shown up a little bit here. I mean, it's a lofty standard he has to follow, but Djokovic is working his forehand over a little bit.
No real surprises so far. Novak in fine form, not under threat on his serve, and able to do damage with his fantastic returns.
Well, the crowd dancing away to the Macarena, and the Serbians that have come in tonight to see their favourite player in a good mood. There's no doubt about that. That was a good opening set from Novak Djokovic.
And just top right in the Team Serbian zone. You can see Goran Ivanisevic, his day-to-day coach, working a tablet there, looking at some data, some statistics, anything he can glean from that to help out Team Serbia along the way.
There he is. Just come off a bit of knee surgery, Goran. A bit of a tidy up, and says it's all going well.
Second set.
Won't be hitting balls, I don't think, on this trip. He often still gets out there,
China to
hits them
serve.
well. Still got a great left-handed serve going.
One of the great serves in the game in his time, that's for sure.
So it'll be Jung to start set number 2. Goes for a safety ball, just takes a bit of pace off, and then you got to watch out. There's no that, just rips off this ball here. Here comes the Jung forehand. Yeah, it's not a completely bad shot. There's got a bit of depth to it, but Novak just able to find his own power. So sweet. Let me ask you this question about the forehand wing of Jung, Jim. I mean, when you watch it in normal pace, it looks good. But there's obviously something that breaks down in it. What does he need to work on to make it a more steady, stable shot?
Look, I think there's a reason that clay is been his best surface results-wise to date. It gives him more time on that, especially that wing.
There's an example.
Yeah, when the ball gets on him quickly right now, sometimes that happens. And we mentioned it the other night, sometimes his left shoulder pulls out of the swing, and there's a lack of stability. If he could be as calm with his upper body through the shot production as his opponent is, it would certainly improve. A little too much motion upper body-wise at times.
Which is interesting, isn't it? Because the backhand is the opposite to that. The backhand is stable, it is balanced, it's smooth through the backswing and the strike and through the follow-through.
You got to remember, Novak's forehand wasn't what it is today when he came on tour. It was the weaker side by a pretty wide margin. So work can be done. Improvements can be made if you're willing to be diligent about it. I remember hearing about Marian Vaida standing on the same side of the court with Novak earlier in their career, just dropping balls out of his hand, forcing Novak to create racket head speed and trying to generate confidence in that side. Boy, did that work. It's become a massive weapon for Novak over the years. But he's worked on it. He wasn't born with it.
Advantage Team Serbia.
Early pressure on Jong. A break point in this opening game. And he gets that break. Wonderful return, followed up by a ripping forehand from Djokovic.
First game, second set.
Novak's always been a seeker, right? He's had many coaches throughout the course of his career. Marian Vita spent probably the most time with him. But he brought in other voices too. Boris Becker was a big voice for him, came in and really helped him figure out how to win big matches. That was what he was struggling with. And then Becker departed. Andre Agassi came in for a minute, and then eventually Ivan Isavic joined the team. And it's been a good partnership. And I'm actually, it's interesting. I'm interested in you guys' take on Boris Becker. Now is coming back into the game. He's coaching the young challenger Holger Rune. That seems to be a good partnership. I'm excited to see what they can do together. What say you guys?
Well, I mean, personality-wise, on court, I think they were, quite similar. Holger's a gritty, in-your-face type of competitor. He kind of tries to bring an aura to the court. That's what Boris had, obviously.
Similar sized quadricep muscles.
No, I think it's something that we'll see play out. We'll see how it goes. But Boris has had some success in the coaching box there. There's no doubt about that.
Rune, one of many, now trying to knock the king off of his perch. But he's certainly a talented youngster. He and Sinner and Alcaraz certainly look to be a talented trio.
I think one of the harder parts for a lot of younger players, even with talent, is to be able to go and hire that quality of coach. It costs a lot of money. So you're making an investment in your future, but you've got to have the money first to be able to make the investment. You have to hit a level. You can't sort of say, walk up to Boris and 150 in the world and say, would you come and coach me? It's not, those guys don't do it for charity. So you've got to get to a certain point before you can actually delve into that kind of pot of magic that sits out there.
I think also, Todd, you have to be at a certain level to actually derive tons of benefit from someone like Boris Becker. I mean, the guy's won 6 major singles titles. He is a legend, Boris Becker, and he has probably information that most youngsters mightn't be able to contemplate, because he played at a different level. So you've got to have a pretty high-level game already before you can start to benefit from that, probably. Start to understand the nuances of what he's telling you.
love 15.
This is where it gets tough for John. It's relentless. You don't get a breather now. You don't get a free point, and you feel like you're actually playing quite well, and everything's just crushing in around you. You don't have time. You don't have space.
One of the things that's also become very clear about Novak over the years, you watch him play, when he gets up a break, it frees him up to be more aggressive. If he's tied in the scoreline, he plays a far more conservative brand of tennis, and it's easier for his opponents actually to hang in there. And we've watched it for years, Todd. The average speed of his shots just keeps climbing the bigger his lead gets. It also can climb when he's really far down in the count. But when it's close, you think about the way he plays tiebreakers, it tends to be more conservative. But right now, look how aggressive he's being. He's feeling free out there. And he's got his opponent in a real pickle.
That's what you've got to do to win points. You've got to come up with your biggest serves and hit the line at the same time.
13-14.
Still finds himself down a break point here. But there's the unforced error off the forehand, unfortunately, from Zheng, and Novak is racing away with this now. He's got a double break and a set. 3-love, he leads.
Zatvorio sam u taj. Bravo. Sjajni tvoj servis. Sjajni.
It's a pretty quiet bench on the Team China team zone at the moment. Wu Di, the captain there, former player himself. Quite interestingly, he was a player that couldn't quite crack the top 100. Was very often in and around 120. Spent a lot of time between 100 and 200. It was Zheng that was the first Chinese player ever in the ATP rankings to crack that top 100 barrier. And he became the first Chinese player to get a top 10 victory to go along with that. He's the first Chinese man back in 2021 to qualify at Wimbledon and compete in the main draw in the Open era.
was the level of difficulty on that overhead, Todd, do you think?
Well, I would probably...
9?
Yeah, 8 maybe. 8 to 9. I mean, it's a shot that you don't see many players actually practice. You look how high that is, Fitzy. There was good depth.
I mean, that's perfect timing to knock that off so easily. But you can just see on Novak's face, he's down my end now, and there's no stress at all, because I just think he knows that if he goes 3-4 times in a row heavy into that forehand, he's going to get some help.
He's playing so well, but even when he has straightforward matches, they don't often go as quickly as this one is moving. This is good news for him on a lot of levels. It's pretty one-sided at the moment. He's playing great. It's also 51 minutes into play, and he'll be expected back on court for the mixed doubles tonight, potentially, if it's a live match for sure. Zhang Qinwen will be the favorite in the women's match to follow, with Olga Danilovic representing Team Serbia. So highly likely that it will be a live mixed doubles match to finish up this evening. He's wasting no time right now.
Well, the fans want to see him win, but I suspect they'd like to see him out on court for a little longer. He's just racing through this second set. First set was 34 minutes. For love now, only 17 minutes in.
Love.
How can you not overplay if you're Zhang right now, with Novak playing so well and so freely? You have basically two choices. You can hit your normal shots and let him rip winners, or you can up your risk profile and probably do that, double fault.
There's an interesting stat between the two. He's serving solidly 64% of first serves in for the match, Zhang. When he gets it in, he wins 67% of the time on that point. But Novak, 63% of first serves in, a 90% win ratio.
That's what it takes. In this set, Novak's hit 6 winners. He's made no unforced errors. He's been perfect in set 2 from that standpoint. Left that one in the center of the court. And Zhang took dead aim with that one. Delivers. Trying desperately to get on the board.
And he has done that. That'll be a sigh of relief for Team China, but it's Team Serbia with Novak Djokovic in charge. 6-3, 4-1.
Team Serbia leads full games to 1.
I mean, you've got to take positives out of the experience if you're John, don't you? I mean, his level's been pretty good tonight. I think he's actually played at a more consistent level than he played when he defeated Lehecka in the first match. But it shows you where you're at and what you need to do and how much better you need to get.
That's exactly right. Novak comes out and exposes your weaknesses and shows you what you need to work on, which is the forehand wing.
It's thinking to myself, you know, I know better than this, but you look at him playing, him being Novak, and you listen to the racket there, and you listen to the tension, and you think, I've got to have that racket. What does he use in those strings? What's that grip like? Because I'm going to play like that if and I know better that that's not the way it is. It doesn't feel the same if you put it in your own hand. But
yeah, I've got some golf clubs to sell you, Todd, if that's what you're after.
But I'm watching that tonight thinking, I've got to get that racket. That's going to get my topspin backhand better for sure.
You know, I changed to Boris Becker's racket after he'd won Wimbledon twice as a 17 and 18-year-old. It didn't work for me quite the same.
It just looks so simple.
He wants a fresh racket, I think. Something different.
If he changes this racket, Todd, are you going to think you need a different one?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I always had trouble with my serve, as you know.
First error of the set for the world number 1.
First double of the match.
Yeah, it's definitely that racket. That's the one he needed.
You see that balance. The left shoulder does come away quite quick with Novak, but it's the balance through the strike that doesn't move. The head stays still. Eyes on the ball. Accurate serving, but also with pace, 200 and above. Majority of the evening, Novak. And although he gets it back, dispatched with the forehand. Team Serbia just a game away from taking this first match.
Team Serbia leads 5 games to 1.
I suppose Fitz, when you play a clean match like Novak's playing, he hasn't really been put under any stress or pressure yet. Would you want that in an opening match like tonight?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's fine. He can face pressure whenever he needs to and wants to. He always has. And I just think saving his body initially is not a bad thing, especially if he's going to back it up with mixed doubles now.
Jong serving to stay in it here.
See, even that forehand then he wrapped that around the frame a little bit. So unless you know or you're good with technique, it's hard to see. I agree with you, Todd. It's hard to see what he does wrong, but he just mishits it too often. In second gear now.
59.
Perhaps one thing stands out to me with that forehand wing, Fitzy, and that would be that when he hits a backhand, he's always got the ball in the same strike zone. It's always in the same position. Footwork's in the same place. But when he goes to forehand, Jong, it's in a different hitting zone. Sometimes it's a bit too far forward. Sometimes it's a little late. He needs to work on the feet to have them in a better position to get the strike consistently. I think that would make a big difference for him. But he's finding himself in dire straits here. 2 points away from defeat. And that's what stat he needs to look at the end of the night here. 25 unforced errors. Some of those unforced errors, I think, Fitzy, they come from just the pressure of playing a world number one.
Well, I think so. And, you know, the ball's back. Look, Novak does everything better, you know, than the majority of players, than all the players currently. So you're constantly under pressure. The ball comes back faster. It's in a more difficult spot. He's quicker. I mean, you know, he's does everything so well that, yeah, you feel the pressure. There's no let up. He's just being overwhelmed a little bit now. It's a bit unfortunate. I would have loved to have seen him, you know, play right at his peak, but it's got a lot to do with who he's playing. It's intimidating. There's a big crowd. The atmosphere's different to what it's been so far in the event.
And with that double fault, it gives Novak Djokovic, Team Serbia, a match point. Saves one.
Advantage, Team China.
They're still coming out with some good stuff. Some big first serves.
Advantage, Team China.
Determined to try and hang in here for as long as he possibly can is Jung.
He's certainly fun to watch. He's an exciting athlete, primarily, and I mean, you know, I know he's 27 now, and he, in a way, I guess that means he's a bit of a late bloomer. This is his best tennis he's played at that age, but I still think we've got a lot to look forward with him. If he can just tighten that forehand wing up, he'll win a lot of matches over the next few years. But he's going to have to, Todd, isn't he? Fix it up, because everyone knows now.
Yep.
They see him playing a match like this, they know. So there's nowhere to hide.
And that's a great effort. He manages to save a break point. And Novak Djokovic, when we come back, will be serving for the match at 6-3, 5-2. Still to come in this tie here tonight in the United Cup in Perth. Next up is the women's singles. Jung Quinn will take on Olga Danilovic. It's a first meeting for both of those. Big difference in the rankings there. Jung, 21 years of age, number 15 in the world. That's a career high for her, 2 titles last season. And Olga Danilovic, 22 years of age, and the current world number 119. She's been as high as 93. A lefty with a bit of power, but just starting to break through on the WTA, coming out of the minor leagues, as Jim likes to call them. Team Serbia, led by Novak Djokovic here in Perth at the United Cup. He's coming out to serve for the match. He had a match point in the previous game. And he's brought the fans in and the atmosphere tonight in Perth. New Year's Eve, but this is the beginning of his 2024 season. Djokovic serving for the match.
Net for service.
Big second serve, 161, directed at that forehand wing of Jung. And with the ripping backhand down the line, Djokovic gives himself another 2 match points. It's all gone by the wayside. Will it be 3 times lucky for the world #1 Fitz?
On the first 2, Todd, he's tried to finish in spectacular fashion. The backhand hit the tape on the first one and down the previous end. And first serve and volley for the night there to try and finish it in style. He might be a bit more conservative on this one.
Now he's going to seal it with an ace, and the 2024 season off to a brilliant start for Novak Djokovic. Novak goes up to the Chinese captain Wu Di to shake hands, and Fitzy, he'll be very pleased with that. Hasn't had a lot of court time on the main court here at the RAC Arena, but didn't seem to bother his timing tonight.
Well, he can adapt faster than anyone. He's just, he's so good, Todd. It's frightening, really.
Well, it's frightening for the rest of the field, that's for sure. For his fans, they love seeing him play like this.
It must be an amazing feeling to know that you can do with a tennis ball, you know, more than anyone else that's playing at the moment, and maybe more than anyone that's ever lived. I mean, he's an incredible athlete. He's an all-round player. There's no weakness really in his game at all, which is rare for anybody. And you know, he just handles the pressure well. He'll be happy, I think, to get on and off quickly tonight and save a bit of that energy. He's hitting the ball well enough.
Certainly is. Women's singles to come. The mixed doubles could be vital for Team Serbia to get through. Viktor Troicki on the left, the captain, but Novak's coach, Goran Ivanisevic, on the right in the grey shirt there. Rackets are going off to the stringer to get prepared for the next match. And in just a moment, we'll hear from Novak. Jim Courier is down courtside, ready to have a chat to the world #1.
Look how professional that is, though. I mean, he's already working on the strings, and maybe a change of tension in 1 or 2 rackets. He's already thinking ahead. Gee, the atmosphere is so different, Todd, than it's been this week so far.
Well, here he is. He's ready to chat to Jim.
Novak, they sound happy to see you. Are you happy to see your fans here in Perth?
Absolutely. Great to be back in Perth. Thank you all for coming. New Year's is in a few hours, so I really appreciate you coming to maybe hopefully celebrate the New Year's Eve with us here on the court. It's been 10 years since I've been last in Perth, and this arena is definitely one of the nicest arenas, I think, from inside and outside that I've played in. Obviously, Australia has been, you know, my happy place, a place where I made the most slam wins in Melbourne, obviously, and I love coming back. I love playing, and I missed playing in Perth as well in front of you guys. So thank you so much for coming out. Appreciate it.
You got your team off to a perfect start. You played awfully well from our eyes. How would you assess your performance, first official match of the new season?
Well, it took, you know, I was a little bit rusty at the beginning, to be honest, a little bit out of tempo or rhythm, maybe in the first, you know, 5-6 games, but it's normal. I mean, when you don't play an official match for, you know, over a month, obviously it takes a little bit of time to get the engines going, and he was serving well. Obviously, he had nothing much to lose. I think the serve was great on my part. I think whenever I needed to get myself out of the trouble, maybe 15 holes or 30 holes in my service games, I would find a good serve. After I broke his serve, I think it was 3-2 in the first set. I think the momentum shifted to my side. I felt I was swinging through the ball with more ease, and to win straight sets, the first match of the season, obviously, is always great. I'm looking forward to the next one.
Well, you might have a next one here later on tonight because it's a team competition. You have your teammate Olga's going to come out and play singles, and you're slated to play mixed doubles. We might see you later. When's the last time you played mixed doubles?
A couple of days ago on the practice court.
How'd it go?
But officially, I think since the Olympic Games, actually, in Olympics at Tokyo, and that's where I played mixed last. And I know Olga very well. She's coming out now. Hopefully she can get a win. If not, we'll come back to try to clinch this tie in the mixed doubles, and looking forward to it.
I'll get some rest. Ladies and gentlemen, he is Novak. You know him.
He is Novak Djokovic, the world #1, and I had to have a giggle to myself there. Fitzy, you're still courtside. He said it took him 5 or 6 games to get used to it. I thought he was going to say 5 or 6 points, because that's what it looked like from the commentary box.
I didn't notice a thing, actually, Todd.
Me neither.
He didn't miss hit a ball. He didn't miss any. Very few unforced errors. So, yeah, it's interesting, isn't it, to get into the mind of a player of this stature. It's, they think differently. They are different. They're unique, really. And most of us mortals can't sort of contemplate what's in their head and how they react and how good they are, what they expect of themselves. He's just an amazing athlete, amazing tennis player. And, yeah, we're privileged to see him.
Well, we'll take a look at the stats from the match. Started off not perfect on serve, that's for sure, but he got to the percentages that Jim Courier was talking about, always in somewhere the mid to low 60s with his first serve percentage. But have a look at the first serve points won, 86% when it goes in. That's because of the speed, the accuracy. It sets up that next ball for him to start to dominate the point. And one of the key things that he brings to his matches is the ability to keep errors at a minimum, and that was the opposite for Zhang, wasn't it?
Yep.
Where the forehand let him down 29 unforced errors to 9.
Yeah, Todd, that would have been a perfect sort of match-up for him, really, in retrospect. And Zhang would have been pretty nervous going out there to play him. As good as he is, he has to keep that forehand wing. He has to keep it in the court, because you can't just give away free points to a player like this. It's very difficult to win against someone if you make those errors.
Well, Novak doing the best that he can to give some autographs and a very special moment to all the fans that are here tonight in RAC Arena. They'll be finishing their year off this New Year's Eve with a special moment, a photo and an autograph, and they got to see the world #1 play some of his very best tennis here. It is Team Serbia who have the lead over Team China. 1-0, the women's singles is to come.